In today's episode, we'll be looking at potion brewing, but we're not going to make use of this old guy over here. No. Instead, we'll be looking at the create mod and how we can create machines like this to produce potions like these. I'm DSL25 and welcome to another create tutorial. Let's jump into it. The first step is just determining what you want to brew. So you need to decide, I want a strength potion, look at what you need, and look at what you want. Do you want just strength 1, or do you want strength 2, or do you want strength with a longer duration? So that's step 1. So behind me, I've got a wall prepared. So with this wall over here, we know there's two options to start with. You can add nether wart to your water bottle, and you'll get awkward potion, fermented spider eye to get a potion of weakness. I noted here that there's a lot of other methods to get to that, but not important for now. So we know that the first step of our brewing machine will be water bottle, nether wart, awkward potion. Then we need to decide what else we want. So over here, we've got a bunch of potions in front of us. And the first one you need to decide on is, do you want healing? Do you want regeneration? Do you want leaping? So let's say we're going to go with strength. So we know awkward potion, we have to add blaze powder to get a strength potion, which is the step 2 in our whole process. But depending on what you want to do, you can even take that further and get slowness, harming, or invisibility. But let's stick to strength. The third step is determining if you want to add a modifier. Let's call him modify this. Do you want to increase the duration of your strength potion, or do you want to increase the strength of your strength potion? So that's the first thing you need to do, is decide which potion, and that will determine which one of these two you use, and then determine if you want to add a modifier. But that's the vanilla part of things. A potion has an effect, and the effect helps you in surviving, I guess. But in create, we've got additional uses for potion. So if you go to nether and you crush netherrack, you get cinder flower, and determining on what potion you add to the cinder flower, you get different things. So if you add potion of strength to cinder flower, you get redstone. If you add night vision to cinder flower, you get glowstone. And if you add harming potion to cinder flower, you get gunpowder. And that is why brewing is a little bit more important than vanilla brewing. Step 1, making an awkward potion. So first of all, you're going to need a water source or a water tank filled with water. For this purpose, I'm using the creative fluid tank from the create mod. You use this to test the things, but your pump can directly pull from a water source, an infinite water source that is, or it can pull from a tank that you filled up previously. That will go into a basin, which will then mix the potion, and that will send it out to a tank where it gets stored, or you can put it into bottles. Tank just works easier. Important to note that if you pull out, you're going to have one of these smart fluid pipes and just a filter, which is awkward potion at this time. And from the back, we input our netherrack, which will then end up with the water, and that will get heated up. We also need to have a heat source, which is a blaze burner, and you can feed it any of these materials. So it's blaze cakes, logs, coal, charcoal, and it should work. And I think there's even more, but for now, we're just going to use a blaze cake. So let's just fire that bad boy up. Let's chuck our nether warts in there, and we power it. So water should go in, it starts to mix, and then pretty soon it should pull it out, and in here we will have awkward potion. Nice. Now it's time to turn that awkward potion into a potion with an effect. And like I mentioned, we're going to go with strength 2. So now we have our fluid tank filled with awkward potion, and from that we're going to have to extract into the basin, and from the basin we're going to extract strength, which we added onto the smart fluid pipe as a filter again. And we need to mix blaze powder with the awkward potion. So if we turn this on, if we flick that, the blaze powder should go in there. There we go. Is this pulling out? No, it's switched back. The awkward potion pulls in. It mixes up. And out comes strength potion. Just like that. So again, just mix, pulls out strength potion. As easy as that. So let's say we want to turn our strength potion into strength 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to pump our strength potion into the basin and then mix it with glowstone dust. That will mix, and into this tank we'll have strength 2 going. So let's flip this on. Let's put some glowstone in there, and then you can see the potion and the glowstone dust gets mixed, and this tank should slowly fill up. There we go, with strength 2 potion. So that's one way. A good thing to note is that you do not need a tank in between sections. You can directly pump from this one into another basin and get the process going. This just helps to build up a supply of, say, awkward potion, strength 1 potion, and strength 2 or whatever. So this is not the only way you can chain them. This is just for demonstration. But now that we have the potion, you guys are going, Dio, how do we get it out? How do we use it? Well, there's 2 methods. The first method will be to just connect a pump to your tank, run that into a fluid valve, which has some power going into it and remote to control it, and just pipe and spill it. So if we right click this, you will see slowly, there goes the fluid, and all of a sudden particles will fall down the bottom. Here we go. And if you run into that, boop, you can see in the top right, we actually have the effect on us. And you can just flip that off again. The other way method is, if you want to carry it around in bottles, you can have exactly the same setup. You can have a tank, you can have a pump, runs into a spout, and we have a depot at the bottom. So as soon as we chuck a bottle down onto this, the spout will fill it up. You can right click it and you can pick up your strength 2 potion. You can also do multiple bottles. Oh, that's a fail. Multiple bottles, and we'll slowly fill them up, and you can wait for them. Perfect. So over here we have a bigger, more industrial system, and what this does is it brews the awkward potions on this side, sends it into a tank. From there we send it into this area that will brew your strength potion, and sends that into its own tank as well. So how this setup works is we have our little infinite water source at the bottom. So whether it be a source block over there surrounded by water so it doesn't run out. We have our input, which will then be nether wart on this side. And we've got input the same, exactly the same. That will be our blaze powder. And we also have these mechanical arms, which will pick up coal from this line and give it to the blaze burner. So just to give you guys an idea. So what I basically did is we right click over here. We said collect over there, give over there. And that's how that bad boy works. So if we turn it on, you'll see coal go, you see the hand grab, you see the hand give. And that's how we fuel this whole system. So what we're going to do is let's put in nether wart over here. So nether wart will go, flow in there. This mixer will mix. It will send it into this fluid tank over here. And the awkward potion immediately goes into this tank over here. And what we just do is this one, we're just going to add blaze powder, and that will add the blaze powder in there. And why is this is the wrong space? Okay, that's all better, all fixed now. So that's the thing, awkward potion will come in, mix with the blaze powder, and strength potion will go into this fluid tank over here. So how do we build the system? First things first, determine your location, and then spacing, and then the size of your tanks. For this purpose of the tutorial, we're going to go for 3x3s. So firstly, we're going to have 4 open blocks. Then we'll do our tank base, just 1 base for now. Then we'll have 5 open blocks again, like that. And we'll repeat those again, just like that. And that will be our tanks. And these we can make however high we want. So let's just say 3x3 now. Next step will be to add our input lines. So on this side, you come to the 1 block open and you build 1 block there. In the center, you're going to leave 2 blocks open and you're going to build a block over there. We're going to extend this line out so they're both 3 lines long. And the reason for this is we want to do a shaft over there and remove those 2. And we can also remove these blocks at the bottom. And we're going to do 1 over there. No, 1 over there. 1 over there. And 1 over here. And we can remove those. And we can remove those. And these will become our input lines. Just like that. And just like that. So these will be the items that we send into our machine. So let's for now just put down barrels. That's where we're going to bring in the stuff. So we're going to extract from those. And we're going to send right on into another set of barrels, which will be our storage for the brewing machine. Now that we have input, we need to put down the basin. So the basin's not going to go right next to the chest, but rather one down, like so. We're going to use a hopper to feed the ingredient into the cooled basin. We're going to have our smart fluid pipe over here, and we're going to have our pump pointing into that. So this system will put in the items, and this one will extract the final product. Same thing on this side. We'll have our basin 2 down, hopper feeding into it, our smart fluid pipe, and a pump pointing in. And that's it for the input and taking out the items. What we're going to have to do is we're however going to have to add water going into this one and fluid coming from this tank into that tank. So let's jump into that. So the awkward potion part requires water. So what we're going to do is we're going to pump water right into that using a pump over here. And for this purpose, we're just going to use to create a fluid tank. Again, like I mentioned, it can be a water source, whatever. But we've got water pumping into that now. And for this part, we need to get potion coming out of this tank over here, running up there, with the pump pointing in that direction. So now we've got the input of the items, we've got the water into that and the fluid into this one. So the next step is getting this thing powered. So the final two touches of these contraptions are adding our mixers on top of the basins and adding our blaze burners underneath the basins. So now we have a means of heating the basin and we've got a means of mixing the potions. Now it comes to power. To get power going, we're going to put down on the awkward potion side, we're going to put on a cog over there. And into this cog, you will run your power source. So for our purposes, I'm just using creative generate again. And you're just going to have to make sure that you tweak the input so it turns the right way. And how you're going to know that is by simply doing a gearbox over there, gearbox over there. And if you insert a shaft here, it should be going that way. So now we've got the input running, and that's putting nether wart into the water over here, which is fantastic. Now we need to get this bad boy going. We need to get fuel into the blaze burner. So what we do is next to these two gearboxes, right over here, we add a copper block. We take our mechanical arm, right click to say collect over there, right click on the blaze burner to say put over there, and we put that down on top of the copper block. And what we can do now is we can just add a little cog over here, and that automatically should mean this guy picks up, he feeds that, which is great. Now we've got heat, but this thing ain't spinning. So from the mechanical arm, we're going to pull power, just go one up, and there we go. It's mixing. It's creating awkward potion. But now awkward potion needs to get pumped into this tank. But before we do that, we need to put a filter on this. So you're going to at least have to brew one awkward potion in a bottle and put it over there, just to tell this to only extract awkward potion. You can add one on the basin to just make sure the filter works, but not necessary. And if we add a cog over there and a cog over there, that should start pumping, and we should see this tank slowly fill up with awkward potion. So the whole first setup is running, it's working, and that's great news. Now let's head on over to that system. So for the strength side of things, it's going to be a little bit different because we have an additional pump over here. So what you're going to do is you're going to come down to this spot. We're going to add a gearbox right over there. On top of that, we're going to add another one and one over there. So in like a little Tetris shape. On this side, we're going to add a shaft and a little gear going in there. And then on this side, we're going to do exactly the same. We're going to add a copper block. We're going to say pick up over there, put over there, and place that guy down. I'm going to power that like that. And then from here, we're going to go two up to power the mixer. I forgot the word mixer again. And we're just going to add another shaft to add to that to make that part work as well. So that's all done. But now we need a power source. So again, I'm just going to use the creative motor. And I know for a fact this one needs to be in a positive. And there we go. We've got those items going in. We've got to put in there. So the fluid should start going in. See what I told you? The pump switched again. So we're just going to switch it around. It's going to switch. I have not activated the spot yet because what we need to do now is we need to go look for a strength potion. And again, we're going to put it into the smart fluid pipe. We're going to put it into the basin. And now we can use the small cogs and just place one there, and just make sure this rotates again. And now this tank should fill up with strength 2 potions. So we've got awkward potion, we've got strength 2 potion, and all of this can be get built higher up, so you've got bigger tanks. But this should be enough for the average system, and it should be more than enough for whatever you need. So now the big thing is, now that you have strength potion, what do you do with it? Well, You can either use it, go fight the dragon a few times, or you can make redstone dust. So that might be a little tutorial on its own. But yeah, potion for redstone dust. But like you guys can see, potion brewing is a mouthful. It is quite a lot of machinery, and yeah, it looks complicated, but it really is not. Once you get the hang of it, it's actually quite fun to build, and I've built the same machine so many times, and it's just fantastic. But I know it is a bit overwhelming, so what I will do is I will link down there a world download to this world where you can go test it out yourself, see how it works and everything, and just have fun. I will also maybe add a list of the mods so you can use exactly the same mods I use and just have fun with it. And also down in the comments, let me know what you think of the potion machine. Will you build it? What will you use it for? Just for potions, or will you create additional items like gunpowder or glowstone or redstone? And let me know if there's something else you want to see. Well, till the next tutorial, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you all in the next one. Oh, and remember, like, subscribe, and I'll see you again. Bye for now.